Okay. Uh, I'm Jim Hershey, James Edward Hershey. Anyway, the difference between an outlaw and an in-law, I found out, is that an outlaw is wanted. But in this case, the in-law, I believe, was well welcomed. I can say I was a little apprehensive when I took this little girl back to her place of abode back in 1980 or 1979, I believe it was. And I thought, I don't know this lady's mom and dad at all. I had no idea who I was going to meet. I didn't know what they looked like. And but I brought her back home, and I think they were out in the barn yet. And after I met him, I said, "Yeah, I like her dad. Soft, quiet spoken." And his favorite saying is, "So you think so, huh? So you think so, huh?" And he still says that today. Or you think you're right. And anyway, her mother, I appreciate my mother-in-law. She was a good cook. She knew how to make pies, and always had something to say. And I will say this on the onset, that she did tell me she loved me and that she was glad to have me for her son-in-law. Now, a few other memories from my father-in-law is he never really tried to make a farmer out of me, but he wouldn't have minded if I would have joined in. But I think I changed his mind in two different given situations. First of all, he put me on a tractor with a great big old disc, and I didn't understand nothing much, at least for farming. And so all of a sudden I hit a great big old rock, and this thing wasn't making good noise. I looked back and the thing was sitting right on that rock, bending those discs over like everything. So I backed up and basically took care of the disc. And they parked the disc out back, and it stayed there, I don't think, the rest of the time for farming. I think they got rid of it. It was bent bad. And I felt really bad. That was one area. The next one was they went to Florida, and so they, I guess I volunteered to help chore. I think that was before we were married, weren't we? And so I was staying over here at John's, and I was choring over there, and the milk was just going up. I mean, I made the cows were milking like crazy. Until her dad came home and he realized, boy, I tell you, these cows are drinking out the wazoo. They're slopping down the manger everywhere. There's water and slopping on the cups. And here I was, when I read the schedule for the cows, there's so much salt. I threw every cow the same amount of salt. Everything. Well, salt makes cows drink water. And they drank water like crazy. And I told her dad, I said, well, that's the first time you start shipping 2% milk, because it was a lot of milk. He said after we put the salt down to where it's supposed to be, he said then the milk production dropped right down like it's normal. Well, that still didn't work. And then for doing some of those jobs for him, he gave me a 1971 GMC, and I asked him today, I think he gave me $600 besides the 71 GMC, and he gave me an old drag heron and a disc. So I had my dad come up, and we loaded all that stuff up, and I took the pickup, and that's the one we took on our honeymoon. And I found out later that's the same one that John took on his honeymoon. And anyway, so yeah, the pickup I had for a number of years after that. And also my dad stuck up for me. I mean, her dad stuck up for me with that same pickup when they tried to hotwire that pickup on our wedding night. We were leaving, and my future brother-in-laws were really rigging this thing up, and her dad stepped in and put the kibosh to that. Later on, I found a wire that was buried underneath my seat that they unhooked, and yeah, a lot of different other things they did to that truck. And another thing that my father-in-law taught me a lot was what carpenter tools are really like and what you can do with them. And he helped me on a lot of different carpentry projects, which I am very grateful and thankful for. And I learned a lot from him, how to do carpentry in our house down in Sparta, and even in our house over here at Sparta and in Stone Lake. But a lot down there in Sparta, and the cabin back in the woods he helped build. And I remember he had a level. He brought a lot of his tools with him, and he brought a level, a 4-foot level. And he was using it on our cabin back there, and he put it up there, and he goes, "I'm going to nail this right here." I said, "No, that ain't level. That ain't straight up and down." He said, "Yes, it is." I said, "No, it ain't. My eye is saying it ain't level." He goes, "Well, yeah, I ain't right." I said, "This ain't right." So I went and got my own 4-foot level, and I put it up there. I said, "This is a brand new one." And it was off. He took that level and he threw it. He said, "I'm done with this thing. I don't know how many crooked walls I put up." I said, "Can I go get it?" "You can go get it, but don't you ever use it for anything that you're going to have." I still got it. It's in my shop, hanging up. And that was one thing it gave me a lesson. And some of the things that I often think about that level is not straight up and down. If what you're reading, what you're listening to, the person that you think you're following, if it ain't level, if it ain't built, pitch it. Because anything else you do with it, is you build it off of that level, it ain't going to be straight. That's some of the things I learned from that, tossing that level. Another thing with her mother, I was 120 pounds or so when I got married, and I was that way for a number of years. And her mom would come to me, "About time you put some spec on." It's about time you put some spec on. I remember her. "Ain't you smiling at all?" And anyway, well, now I got some spec. "Ain't you about time to lose some spec?" No, she ain't told me that yet. Anyway, I am thankful for both of them. These are some of the highlights. There's probably more, but some of the highlights, and coming to visit and spending the day with them here years later is some of the memories I'll never forget. I'm thankful for their spiritual example, the prayers that are still being offered today on our behalf, and I'm glad to be a part of the Gingrich family and their acceptance of me and all my flaws and yik-yakking. It is a very loving family, a very gracious family. I think that came through from both Malin and Laura. I believe I believe Dad is a very gracious man, and I think that permeated down through, I believe, all the siblings and even us outlaws. Some of that worked in through their own children into the ones that they married. At least for me, my wife has been a big help in that area to me, and something I'll never forget. And I think that comes through that teaching of her dad and mom. And I'm thankful for them, and I'm thankful for that. And someday we can all be together in heaven. And appreciate Dwylan taking his extra time he has here and doing this. And God bless you for that. And God bless the family.
I'm not quite sure what all I want to say, but I think my most memorable memory is seeing my dad do a lot of praying and reading his Bible, falling asleep and saying he's not sleeping. And Mom always did a lot of things for us. Dad always did things for us. We're always very willing to help people and help others.
all you're saying?
for now.
Oh. Well, you know, I've always heard a lot of people saying about him doing a lot of praying and things. I know for the seems with us living around here and being with them some, prayer time. I can't say I've seen him doing a lot because I ain't around him that much, other than like at meal times or something like that. But I hear that they do a lot. Other than that, like I say, like I did earlier there about when I blew that tractor up for them, and then when I put it together, I said, well, I was ready to quit and didn't tighten the bearings, and they put the engine and the oil pan back together, and it rattled. Well, I don't know what they thought about me. I wasn't around at the time. But anyway, and then that one week, John went to Arizona in the summertime, and we stayed here and helped Dad milk while John was in Arizona. I remember that, and I used to say I never want to be a farmer. Well, I think I still stick to that, but that was a good week working with Dad in the barn. Of course, he did a lot of the feeding till I'd get up, because he'd get up earlier than I did, and I'd go over there and buy time for milking. I remember that. But yeah, we're
Any more?
still trying to talk.
I'm just,
Keep going.
All
I'm
right,
just testing to see if it was picking you up or not.
yeah.
Because I wasn't sure.
Okay. I know. That means a lot to me that he does. I lost my real dad when I was about 25. It was about 3 months after Donna and I started dating. He was killed in an accident. My mom did get remarried about a year or so later. I'm not sure how long it was. But Amos was a exceptionally good stepdad too. But my mom and him are both gone now, and I really get along with Dad and Mom. I love them like I would my own parents. I share with them like I probably would with my own parents. One thing I appreciate about Mom, I can tell mother-in-law jokes and she can laugh at them. She knows I'm not serious. But yeah, they are a very stable block in my life.
I guess the other thing I thought about, that Mama taught us how to sew, how to cook, so I give her the credit for that. And I don't know, I know my mind went, I was thinking, and I should have wrote things down that I thought about, but I do appreciate my mom and dad, and I love them very much.
Also, the help that they gave us while we were building the house. I know Dad did a lot of the work in our, I should say, the interior work in our house as far as building the walls, interior walls. And we were living down here in the basement over the time for a few months. And that was over the time also that I had my operation and I was off work for 6 weeks. But yes, Mom and Dad are very precious to us.
think that's a light up.
I think so too, for a second. Okay, yeah, what I wanted to say this time was, on our wedding day, I think Ron was our photographer, and he was trying to shoot pictures of us. Well, Dad was our chauffeur to haul us in his car, go from in the Wesleyan church in town over to the garage where we had our camper parked. And Dad decided we hid it and parked it so nobody would try to sabotage it like we did to Jim. But anyway, we had gifts in the trunk and on the back seat. All three of us were sitting on the front seat. Back before seat belts were required, I think. While we're going through town, all and around town, I didn't know Spooner had so many streets as Dad was finding. Next thing I know, Dad says, "Oops, I think we're going the wrong way on a one-way street." Here out there, we're on First Street, I think it is, or whatever it is, where it's like a boulevard street. And Dad's going down the wrong side, going the wrong way on a one-way street. And I said, don't worry about Ron, because we had lost everybody but Ron, because there was like 3 or 4 of them that were trying to follow us. And Dad says, no, I'm going to lose him. I'm going to lose him yet. He kept going around town. I think after we went down the wrong way on the one-way street, I think that's where we did lose Ron, because we eventually lost Ron. Ron says, no, he says, all I wanted to do was take pictures of you leaving. But he didn't accomplish that because we lost him. Dad got a joy and a kick out of that he lost everybody, because it was only on the other side of town of Spooner, that by Harmon's garage, if you know where that's at. The church is on the west side of town, and the garage was kind of on the northeast side of town, and they could have easily if we'd have just went straight over there, they'd all followed us over. So anyway, Dad was proud that he lost everybody.
Never knew Dad could drive quite like that.
I'll say. He got a kick out of it. Okay, I guess
Everything.
that's about all that is